Hello friends, welcome to C# Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching a final part of the video subseries C# ToolStrip control. Now we are going to study the ToolStrip overflow behavior. So that means we can call this as a layout style also. Here you are seeing a default layout style in this screenshot. We will disable this during the form load and we will study the behavior. After that we will enable and apply two different styles. One is normal flow and another one is a horizontal overflow. We will study both these behavior in this video. So before that, a quick recap of all previous 6 parts that we gone through in this series. First we learned about the ToolStrip control basics. Then we talked about the example. So this is the example we are creating to understand the behavior of C# ToolStrip control. Next we provided some sample handler for 3 buttons which we created. One is notepad and another one is calculator, then the quit toolbar button. Next we saw how to add standard toolbar button and we saw the usage of insert standard items from the quick task menu of the ToolStrip control. Then we learned how to align the control. Align the control in the sense align the ToolStrip child controls. So it can be a button, separator, whatever it is, and we used the alignment property and aligned 3 of our custom ToolStrip buttons as well as 1 separator. We aligned that towards the right. Also, we talked about the dock property and how it differs from the alignment of ToolStrip control. So the dock property is for the entire ToolStrip control, and this alignment property is for individual ToolStrip control that stays inside the individual ToolStrip child control, we can say, that will be staying in the ToolStrip control, and using the alignment we can align those control towards left or right. Then we talked about the display style property. We implemented the image and text behavior using the display style property. Then we talked about text image relation. So once a display style property is enabled, when we enable the display style with the text and image, then this text image relation property will come into picture, which states whether we want to display the icon first or the text first. Now we will study the overflow behavior. So during the form load event, that means when form is loaded, we access our ToolStrip control and we set the can overflow property to false. That means overflow will not be allowed, and once we place a check mark here, so when checked is false, we still default to the form load stuff, and when it is turned on, we set the can overflow property to true. That means once a check mark is placed here, the ToolStrip control will allow the overflow of all the controls added to it. We can, for simplicity reason, we will say ToolStrip buttons added to the ToolStrip control. So if you see here, with overflow set false, we can see only 3 plus 3 plus 1, 7 toolbar button with a 2 separator. So since overflow is false, some buttons are hidden, and if you want to see all the buttons, you have to resize the form. Or if you set the can overflow to true and place a check mark here, normal flow, the button will look like this. I mean, the ToolStrip control will look like this. And if you see here, the controls which is not shown here is visible here. Why? Because it requires more room with the same width. So here, let's say the width is W. With this width and with can overflow set false, since overflow is not allowed, it is hiding some control. So for example, I can say the cut, copy, paste, all these stuffs are hidden here, including this help one. All right. So when we set the layout style, so that's the property we have to use. And if you see here, we are handling the normal flow radio button, checked changed event. That means whenever a check mark is placed or removed, this event get fired. And we are checking RAD flow. This is the RAD flow radio button. When it is turned on, that means a check mark is here, then we are accessing the layout style, and we are saying ToolStrip layout style as a flow. So when we set the layout style to flow, and when the overflow is turned on, you can see how the ToolStrip control is growing in 2 rows. So there is one more style, and when we place a check mark here in the, or when we select this radio button and we access the layout style property again, and this time we are setting horizontal stack overflow. So this is not, this style is flow style. If you see, it spans in a 2 row, but with the horizontal overflow, it still shows 1 row only, and you can see the gap also here. Also, it will place a drop down. So once you click the drop down, you will see the control is spanning in multiple rows. So that's the option here, horizontal stack with overflow. So layout style, we saw 2 layout style. One is flow layout style, spans in 2 rows, and it will be always visible. With the horizontal, I mean the style horizontal stack with overflow, it won't show by default, but once you click this down arrow button here, it will show the remaining ToolStrip control. Also, if you see here, to test this, we have to place a check mark here. That means we need to display the ToolStrip button icon along with the text. So the moment you turn on this option, there will not be room to display all the icons. So that's where we check these 2 options. So okay, when we are running, we will see that. Now we will go ahead and implement. So what you have to remember is the ToolStrip control property. One is can overflow. This tells whether ToolStrip control can allow the overflow of the ToolStrip itself. So here overflow we set false, that's why some controls are hidden. It's not showing all the ToolStrip button. So that's one property. Second property is layout style. So here we are setting 2 layout style. One is flow layout style. This is the behavior for the flow layout style, and then horizontal stack with overflow style, and you can see the behavior here. Now we will go to Visual Studio and start implementing these events. So here is our example. Now we will select the form. we'll choose property and we will implement the load. So our control name is ToolStrip. Can overflow, we are setting it false. So now we will study the behavior. So when form is loaded, we are setting the can overflow property to false. So by default it will not be false, it will allow the overflow. So now we forcibly set can overflow to false, and here if you see, all the buttons are displaying. So there are 4 plus 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. The moment I say display image and text, if you see, not all controls are displayed, right? And if I resize the form, you can see other controls. So it is appearing one by one, right? So this is because the overflow is not allowed, because we set it as false. And when I resize now, you can see how it is hiding the icons one by one, right? Okay, now we will implement this allow overflow. Let's go for checked changed event. So just double clicking it. So you can download the code snippet from the video description, or if you prefer to type, you can type also. So when you type the code, you can see IntelliSense, all those stuff, and it will give some good exposure to other functionality when you place a period here. And if you copy paste the code from the video description, your learning will go quicker, but you may be losing some hands-on experience. All right, now if you see here, we implemented the chk overflow checked changed, this one. Now we will test this again. So this time I'm making allow overflow. So first let us display the image as well as text, and we can see all controls are not visible. Now I'm choosing allow overflow, and normal overflow is the default, so I'm checking that also. Okay, these two are not yet implemented. Now you can see the allow overflow. Once the tick mark is placed, it is defaulting to the flow style. Layout style is set to flow. Now we will implement this radio button also, and then we will start our testing. So we will implement checked changed for this one, then checked changed for this one also. And if you see here, previously we handled only one radio buttons checked changed event. In that itself, we checked only one radio button. When it is in checked state, we state the relevant property. Why? Because if you see here, so handling only one event is enough, but here this time we handled both the radio button event. I will tell how it works. So here we handled only for this one, right? Now when I place a check mark here, the status of this radio will change, right? So see here, now I selected this, the status got changed, but the status changes from unchecked to unchecked. That is the status change. Now unchecked to checked, checked to unchecked. So whether I place a check mark here or here, the status change will fire for this. Check mark is placed here. I am clicking this item. Now I am clicking this one, but the event will fire for this as well. Why? Because the status or check state is changing for the first radio button, right? So that's how here we implemented. But here in this case, we handled the checked changed for both. That means we no need to place if and else, only if condition is sufficient. So as shown in the slide here, we will set the layout styles to flow. Next, we will set the layout style as a horizontal stack with overflow. Now we will run and examine this. So the first step will be, so background I set it as white by opening a notepad. Now we will display image as well as a text. You can see both are displayed, and the overflow is not allowed. Now I am allowing the overflow, and so this is normal overflow now. And you can see how it is stacking in two line. Okay, the horizontal overflow will look like this. So you can see how it is stacked. Now it is stacking in two lines. It will still fire the events. So just now we saw the demo. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye. So this concludes the sub-series for ToolStrip control. Bye.